this time in our service, whether we're meeting together as a physical body or we're online, we want to continue to have community and context. And this morning, I'm certainly excited to be able to interview Gerry Thomas, who is here for a short period of time on business, but has jumped in to be a part of our church. And I would love for each of you to get to know his story a little bit better. So, Gerry, can you tell us just a little bit about your family?
Thank you, Pastor. My name is Gerry Thomas. As Pastor said, I currently live in India. Wife and two kids back there. My wife's name is June, and I have two kids, a daughter called Kiran Nivedita and a son called Caleb Nishant.
Oh.
Both those names are Sanskrit names, if you are wondering.
Okay. Wow. Very cool. So you've told us in a Bible study about a time when you had to move from Sri Lanka over to India.
That's correct. I am not a born and brought up Indian. I was born in Sri Lanka to a typical. My language is called Tamil, and Tamil is a minority community in Sri Lanka, and like in most places where there's a minority community, there's been this conflict that's happened between the majority community and the minority community, and we were victims of that. Racial conflict happened twice in my lifetime, 77 and 83, and we had a rough time because of that, lost our property, lost what we had.
Wow.
And in 85, Mom decided, let's move to India. We were fortunate because we had some connections in India, relatives in India, so we moved over to India as refugees. And
wow. So you were refugees moving over to India.
India.
Tell us a little bit about your faith journey.
All right. As I said, my faith journey, I often say is like Psalm 23. My first few years were like in the still waters. I was brought up in a very sheltered home, still waters. Life was calm, life was easy, and that was the still water stage. The second phase of my life was living through these racial conflicts where life was walking through the valley of the shadow of death, literally, where we went through these two conflicts, literally ran for our lives on both these times, and that was the second phase of my life. Because of that, I started to question God. God did not seem to be present in these. When you see such conflicts, He seemed to be at a very distant level somewhere, and because of that, I started questioning God. And though I came to church, I looked at myself as an agnostic, and somewhere down that point, in that midst of that turmoil, I got married. My wife was a believing Christian. She has this strong childlike faith, and she also has this great habit of praying through everything. And I think it was looking at her that she must have been the means for God to pull me back. And I realized at one point that no, it was not my unbelief that was stopping me from following God, but rather my, I did not want to acknowledge His kingship or His authority on my life.
Wow.
And when I realized that, I decided to take a firm step in that direction.
Wow. It's amazing to hear your story in the midst of so much difficulty. God has been faithful to you, and you've come to accept Him and to be a part of the church. And even as you've come here for the past few months, I've loved hearing your stories. And a few weeks ago, you shared about how St. Thomas was allegedly martyred in your hometown.
That's correct. We have a place called St. Thomas Mount in Chennai, where he was martyred. Yes.
Wow.
That's the place there. And I think maybe because of that, Chennai is probably the epicenter of Christianity. You find that there's a strong Christian community in Chennai. I personally like St. Thomas a lot because you find that he's this very questioning, cynical kind of character, but yet you find that he's the man who traveled the furthest distance among the apostles, all the way down to India, and that's the amazing thing about him. And
I think it's just amazing that Thomas, a disciple of Jesus, traveled that far and brought the gospel to your hometown and has influenced you and others in your area. And today, here we are in Kansas City. We're sharing the same faith. We live on different continents. And I know that you have some big prayer requests, and I'd love for you to be able to share a prayer request that you have with our church as we close up.
Yes, Pastor. The biggest prayer request is probably the most obvious one. How and when to get home in the midst of the current situation.
Right.
How and when to get home. And the second one is maybe my family's safety.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. So we will pray for you to have safety on the way home. Although we love you here, we know you want to get back to your family. We'll pray for their safety as well. Thank you so much for just being a part of this.
Thank you, Pastor. Honored.